as it strikes back at Syria. The Turkish military fired artillery into Syria both today and yesterday after a Syrian mortar shell killed 500 people, or 5 people rather, in a Turkish border town. Officials in Damascus have reportedly apologized, but so far, sorry is not cutting it in Turkey. Turkey's prime minister does say his country has no plans to go to war with Syria and that the latest retaliation is just meant as a warning. And the U.S. State Department is on board with Turkey's actions. Listen.
From our perspective, the response that Turkey made was appropriate. It also was designed to strengthen the deterrent effect so that these kinds of things don't happen again.
The question is whether Turkey's military response will actually have that effect and keep Syria from doing something like this in the future. Either way, the Turkish parliament has already approved a bill that authorizes military action against Syria even without support from the allies. The Fox Reports chief correspondent Jonathan Hunt live in New York City. Jonathan, the United Nations Security Council has just condemned Syria's attack. What do we know?
Yeah, just in the last hour, we've got a statement from the Security Council. It took a lot of talking to get there today because the Russians, Syria's most important and most ardent ally, wanted to soften the language in this statement. In the end, the statement condemned the Syrian action in what it called the strongest possible terms. It warned of a widening conflict and called for restraint. The statement was read out by the President of the Security Council. Listen.
The members of the Council demanded that such violations of international law stop immediately and are not repeated. The members of the Security Council called on the Syrian government to fully respect the sovereignty and territorial integrity of its neighbors.
Significantly, what was missing from the statement was any threat of consequences if Syria does not respect the sovereignty and territorial integrity of its neighbors. Trace.
But, Jonathan, it appears that nobody wants this to go any further, right?
No, everybody is terrified that this could end up as a regional conflict, the civil war spilling across the borders, across that long border that Syria shares with Turkey, across the border where those mortars fell in that town at Çakale just yesterday. Nobody wants to see that. That's why we have heard all of these calls for restraint. The Turks, meanwhile, continue to fire artillery shells back towards Syrian positions today, and in a tweet, the Prime Minister's spokesman said the following, quote, "Turkey has no interest in a war with Syria, but Turkey is capable of protecting its borders and will retaliate when necessary. For now, we understand the guns on both sides have fallen silent. Everybody is hoping they stay that way, at least in terms of the fight between Turkey and Syria." Trace.
Indeed. The Fox Sports chief correspondent Jonathan Hunt live for us in New York. Jonathan, thank you. And that crisis, all paying a bit more at the pump. The price of oil today saw its biggest spike in 2 months, up more than $3 to close above $91 a barrel. The jump apparently on fears the conflict between Turkey and Syria could spread further in the region. Of course, where oil prices go, gas prices often follow. AAA reports the average price per gallon is now $3.78. That is up 37 cents from a year ago.